Hello students, so today we are going to start with a new chapter, that is Reach for the Top Part 1, Santosh Yadav. Santosh Yadav is an Indian mountaineer. She is the first woman in the world to climb Mount Everest twice and the first woman to successfully climb Mount Everest from Kangsham face. She climbed the peak first in May 1992 and then again in May 1993 with an Indo-Nepalese team. So before we read, let's go through the questions or the statements given over here. Think for a while and make a list of 3 to 5 persons you idolize or admire very much for their achievements. Your idols may be from any sphere of life. They may be from sports, medicine, media, art and culture. Now your teacher will then discuss your choices with you to find out who the top 5 idols of your class are. Already the assignment has been given for you to do, isn't it? You are supposed to paste the picture of the person you admire and write 5 lines about them. Okay? So let's begin with the story. Let's begin with the biography of Santosh Yadav. And I hope that you know the difference between autobiography and biography. The old woman in the world who has scaled Mount Everest twice was born in a society where the birth of a son was regarded as a blessing, and a daughter, though not considered a curse, was not generally welcome. When a mother was expecting Santosh, a traveling holy man giving her his blessing, assumed that she wanted a son. But to everyone's surprise, the unborn child's grandmother, who was standing close by, told him that they did not want a son. The holy man was also surprised. Nevertheless, however, he gave the requested blessing, and as destiny means fate, would have it, the blessing seemed to work. Santosh was born, the 6th child in a family with 5 sons, a sister to 5 brothers. She was born in the small village of Joniawaz of Rewari district in Haryana. So this is all the beginning of the story, where she is introduced and she is unborn child, and then again when asked by holy man, and as he thought that definitely the family would be expecting a boy child to take birth, but to his utter surprise, grandmother wished to have a girl child. Okay, to this the holy man was also surprised after he heard this from the grandmother. Okay, so lastly, Santosh was born as the 6th child in a family with 5 sons already in that family, and she was a sister to 5 brothers. She was born in a small village of Joniawaz of Rewari district in Haryana. The girl was given the name Santosh, and we know the meaning of Santosh, isn't it? Which means contentment, means satisfaction with what you have. But Santosh was not always content with her place in a traditional way of life. She was just the reverse of her name. She was just the opposite of her name. She was never ever satisfied with whatever she had. She began living life on her own terms from the start. Where other girls wore traditional Indian dresses, Santosh preferred shorts. Looking back, she says now, from the very beginning I was quite determined that if I chose a correct and a rational path, reasonable path, isn't it, correct path, the others around me had to change, not me. So that shows how intelligent she was, isn't it? And she told that, and she was very much determined that if she chooses a right path, definitely others have to change, not she, if she is correct. Santosh's parents were affluent. Affluent means wealthy landowners who could afford to send their children to the best schools, even to the country's capital, New Delhi, which was quite close by. But in line with the prevailing custom in the family, Santosh had to make do with the local village school. In spite of being from the wealthy family, she was sent to the local village school. Okay, because that was the prevailing custom, that was the ongoing custom, isn't it, existing custom and tradition that she had to follow. So she decided to fight the system, the existing system or the prevailing custom of sending girl child to the local village school and not somewhere outside or to a good school for studying. So she decided to fight the system in her own quiet way when the right moment arrived. And the right moment came when she turned 16. At 16, most of the girls in a village used to get married. That was a tradition and culture again. Isn't it a custom, you can say? Santosh was also under the pressure from her parents to do the same. Now let's see what happens next. A marriage as early as that was the last thing on her mind. She threatened her parents that she would never marry if she did not get a proper education. She left home and got herself enrolled in a school in Delhi. When her parents refused to pay for her education, she politely informed them of her plans to earn money by working part time to pay her school fees. Her parents then agreed to pay for her education. Wishing always to study a bit more, as she was never contented with whatever education she has received, and as her name suggests, she was just always the opposite of her name. Okay, and with her father slowly getting used to her urge, that is her desire, her request for more education, Santosh passed the high school examinations and went to Jaipur. She joined a Maharani College and got a room in Kasturba Hostel. Santosh remembers Kasturba Hostel faced the Aravalli Hills. I wish I used to watch villagers from my room going up the hill and suddenly vanishing after a while. And this entire scenario, isn't it, fascinated her the most. One day, she says, she decided to check it out herself, and she found nobody except a few mountaineers. When she asked them if she could join all those mountaineers, she got answer in yes, in affirmation, and that motivated her lot. And from that day onward, she never looked back. So then there was no looking back for this determined young girl. She saved money and enrolled in a course at Uttarakashi's Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. My college semester in Jaipur was to end in April, but it ended on the 19th of May. And I was supposed to be in Uttarakashi's on the 21st, so I did not go back home. Instead, I moved straight forward for the training. She never looked back, she says. After that, she had to write a letter of apology, letter of sorry to she has to regret for, because she has gone there without her father's permission, isn't it? Isn't it? So I had to write a letter of apology to my father, without whose permission I had got myself enrolled at Uttarakashi, she says. Thereafter, Santosh went on an expedition every year. Her climbing skills matured rapidly. She had well adjusted herself, isn't it, to cold winds and the altitude, and then she had become very proficient in climbing. Equipped with an iron will, physical endurance, and hard work she used to do, and an amazing mental toughness, she proved herself repeatedly. The culmination of her hard work and sincerity came in 1992. The result she got in 1992 for her sincere work, isn't it? Just 4 years after she had shyly asked the Aravalli mountaineers if she could join them. At hardly 20 years of age, Santosh Yadav scaled Mount Everest, becoming the youngest woman in the world to achieve the feat. Feat means this achievement she got, isn't it? If her climbing skills, physical fitness, and mental strength impressed her seniors, her concern, she was also very caring. Okay, she took care of all her colleagues over there, all her co-mountaineers over there, isn't it? Her concern for others and desire to work together with them found her a special place in the hearts of fellow members. So she also possessed a good leadership quality, you can say, isn't it? She was a good leader too. So Reach for the Top is actually based on the theme that success comes to those who dare and do. Okay, this theme runs throughout the account of Santosh Yadav's education, training, and success as a woman mountaineer in a country where discrimination against women, you'll find, is very rampant and still prevailing in most part of our country. Things have not changed yet. It's changing, but still it has to go a long way. Santosh defied all odds and customs, traditions, and prejudices to script a phenomenal success through hard work, persistent effort, isn't it? Focus on goal and mental and physical toughness. Santosh has really reached the highest top that a woman mountaineer could reach, not just once but twice. She is a wonderful role model to emulate. During the 1992 Everest mission, Santosh Yadav provided special care to a climber who lay dying at the South Pole. She was unfortunately unsuccessful in saving him. South Pole is a sharp-edged col between Mount Everest and Latos, the highest and fourth highest mountains in the world respectively. Okay. However, she managed to save another climber, Mohan Singh, who would have met with the same fate, same destiny, had she not shared her oxygen with him. It was quite risky, but then she took that courage to share her oxygen cylinder with him. Within 12 months, Santosh found herself a member of an Indo-Nepalese women's expedition that invited her to join them. She then scaled the Everest a second time, thus setting a record as the only woman to have scaled the Everest twice and securing for herself and India a unique place in the annals of mountaineering. In recognition of her achievements, the Indian government bestowed upon her one of the nation's top honors, the Padma Shri. Describing her feelings when she was literally on the top of the world, Santosh has said, "It took some time for the enormity of the moment to sink in. Then I unfurled the Indian tricolor and held it aloft on the roof of the world. The feeling is indescribable." So she describes her feeling here that cannot be described actually. She says that her feeling was indescribable, isn't it? And it took some time for her to believe that particular moment, that she was at the top as she had scaled the Mount Everest lastly, and she was there with the tricolor, isn't it, in her hand. The Indian flag was flying on top of the world. It was truly a spiritual moment. I felt proud as an Indian, also a fervent environmentalist. Fervent means strong, isn't it? Santosh collected and brought down 500 kilograms of garbage from the Himalayas. She was a fervent environmentalist besides being a great mountaineer, you can say. Okay. So similarly, the account, so here we have got her, isn't it, as a strong woman who not only, was a great, you can say a great mountaineer, but was also very caring, and she believed in working together. She had that leadership quality in her. So here we end our chapter. Let's go through the word meaning of the phrases and the words that we have learned. Top honors means highest award. The enormity of the moment, a very great moment, as she was not able to perceive, isn't it? She wasn't able to believe that she has finally scaled the mountain, up high the mountain, isn't it? Sink in means be understood. Held it aloft means held it up high. Fervent, having strong and sincere feelings. Check it out, find out. Headed straight for, went towards, move forward, in line with, following, or in accordance with, according to. The last thing, the least important thing. Then you have certain words like culmination, which means the peak, isn't it? Fine. So I hope the chapter is quite clear to you. Go through the chapter. If still you have any doubt, you can clear your doubts in the classroom. Thank you, children. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.